Before sunrise, thousands of people across Florida looked up and saw this, a massive, glowing anomaly drifting silently across the dark sky. Social media instantly lit up with videos, and people started throwing around words like UFOs and alien invasions. The real explanation is entirely earthbound. That massive glowing object is a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket climbing into orbit. This photo shows what we typically expect a rocket launch to look like: a tight, violent column of fire and smoke pushing vertically towards space. So why did this specific launch balloon into an enormous, glowing deep-sea creature drifting hundreds of miles across the state? There is no magic involved. Producing a sky display like this requires a precise intersection of two physical sciences: fluid dynamics and planetary geometry. To understand why the exhaust plume balloons outwards so aggressively, we first have to look at the fluid dynamics of a launch. Look at this diagram of a rocket near the ground. Down here, the atmosphere is incredibly dense. That thick, heavy air acts like an invisible corset, pressing inward from all sides, squeezing the hot rocket exhaust into a narrow stream. But as the rocket punches higher into the upper atmosphere, that environment drastically changes. The air thins out until the atmospheric pressure drops almost to zero. With that invisible corset completely gone, the superheated exhaust gases face no resistance. They instantly and violently expand outward into the near vacuum of space. That extreme outward expansion creates the massive domed bell of the jellyfish shape, while the trailing particles stretch backward to form tentacles that can span for miles. This chaotic, explosive reaction happens in total silence miles above our heads. Ground observers remain completely blind to the dramatic pressure shift driving it. The bizarre jellyfish shape is exactly how expelled gases naturally behave in a vacuum. That explains the structure, but we still have to explain the brilliant colors. That brings us to our second variable: optics and planetary geometry. We need to figure out why this massive gas cloud glows neon blue and white against a pitch-dark sky. This illumination requires exact timing. It happens during a very narrow window known as the twilight launch effect, typically just before dawn or immediately after dusk. This diagram shows the Earth's terminator line, which separates day and night. During a twilight launch, you, the observer, are standing firmly inside the Earth's shadow. For you, it is still the dead of night. Meanwhile, the rocket is climbing vertically. It reaches an altitude so extreme that it physically peaks over the curvature of the Earth, intercepting direct sunlight while the ground below remains shielded in darkness. That massive, expanded exhaust plume we just looked at now catches those incoming solar rays. It acts as an enormous projection screen, reflecting the sunlight back down to the dark surface. The brilliant blues, whites, and occasional rainbow hues you see aren't fire at all. They are pure, high-altitude sunlight scattering through tiny exhaust particles. The entire glow is a massive optical illusion dictated by timing. The rocket has essentially entered daytime, while the city below is still asleep. When you combine these two variables, uninhibited gas expansion in a vacuum and perfectly timed high-altitude illumination, you get the cosmic recipe for a space jellyfish. As you can see in this split screen, missing either variable ruins the display. If the launch occurs an hour too early, the plume remains hidden in the dark of night. If it launches an hour too late, the expanding gas is completely washed out by the bright blue daytime sky. Because it demands such specific atmospheric conditions and precise orbital timing, seeing this display is incredibly rare. Many people will go their entire lives without witnessing one. Yet, as modern space exploration accelerates, the upper atmosphere is increasingly becoming a canvas for this specific kind of physics. So if you ever hear about a rocket launching near dawn or dusk, take a moment to step outside and look up. You might just catch human engineering and planetary physics perfectly aligning in the dark.